Boys Believe House. Oh, we're about to have FUN, fun, because we're going to do Staar Review number 20. So a magical whiteboard appears. Let's start rocking and rolling. We're going to start off by graphing inequalities. You need to remember how to graph inequalities. This was a big weak link on your benchmark. So number one, we have x greater than negative 2. So the only letter in this is x. And remember, you got, if you have x, you're going to use Hoy and Vuck. So we have a vertical line, undefined slope through x. So we're going to put a dot at the x-axis at negative 2. There is no equal bar, so we have a dashed line, and it's going to be vertical. Okay, so we have a dashed line that's going to be vertical. Greater than on x is to the right. So this line is going to get shaded to the right. So everything to the left of that dashed line won't work because it's going to be smaller than negative 2. On the next one, my slope is 3 over 2 and my y-intercept is negative 1. The 3 over 2 means we're going to go up 3, right 2, and this is where we start. That's our y-intercept. So at y at negative 1, we're going to start. And then when you take your test, remember, you've got to make 2 dots. Your next dot is going to be up 3 and right 2. You draw another dot. Once you click that dot, a line forms. On this one right here, we're going to have a solid line because of the equal bar. So we're going to connect this with a solid line. And now that our inequality is greater than or equal to, so this line is going to be shaded up. So right now we're looking at this part that's going to work right here. And we're going to go to the next line. I'm going to switch colors. This is in standard form. So I'm going to move the x to the right. I'm going to have negative 2y greater than or equal to negative x minus 2. Now that I got it, y, x, a number. Y, x, a number. Y, x, a number. The x is going to give us our slope. We're going to divide everything by negative 2. When you divide by negative 2, you flip the inequality. So we have y less than or equal to 1/2 x plus 1. This is my y-intercept of 1. This is my slope, which is 1/2. Okay, and my equation is y less than or equal to 1/2 x and then plus 1. So we're going to put a dot at 1. And then our slope tells us to go up 1 over 2. Once we do that, we're going to have a solid line. And we have the equal bar right here, so we're going to make this a solid line. And the inequality is less than, we're going to shade down. Basically, we're shading in the triangle, aren't we? So every dot that's in that triangle is going to work. All of the ordered pairs that are inside that triangle work. Let's look at them. negative 1, negative 2. Left 1, down 2. I'm on the dashed line. I'm on the solid line. It works. I'm going to circle it. Negative 1, 1. Left 1, up 1. That's not in the shaded part, is it? It doesn't work. 1, comma 1. Right 1, up 1. It's right on that line. It's going to work in it. This one works. Negative 2 is right here. It's on the dashed line. It won't work. And then 1, comma 2. Right 1, up 2. That's above it. It will not work. If you put these dots in these inequalities, it will say true. And the next one, what order pair do lines 2 and 3 intersect at? That's my green and red one right here. They intersect at 2, comma 2, don't they? That's the answer to the system of equations, okay? Let's continue on. Number 10. This one is a store-ended. So we're going to store 2 for x, and we're going to store 3 for y. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go to calculate. And I'm going to do 2 controlled variable, and I'm going to store that as x. Then I'm going to do 3 controlled variable, and I'm going to store that as y. Not x, but y. Now then I got my x and my y stored. Now then I'm going to type in the problem. Okay, so the problem is negative 3xy squared over 4y to the 0. So I'm going to go to my calculator and type it in. So I have control divide, or I'm going to put a negative in first. So put a negative, and then hit control divide. And now then I need to type in the problem. 3xy squared. So 3xy to the second power. Hit the down button. And then on the bottom, I have 4y to the 0. 4y, hit the up arrow button, and then my 0. Now that I got the problem typed in, don't I? Hit enter. Oh, I got to put a time right here. Let me, hold on. Hold on here. Let me hit up, hit enter, and then I need a multiply right here. Sometimes if you don't have a multiply between the letters, it won't work. I get negative 27 over 2. So one of the answer choices is going to give me negative 27 over 2. Don't forget, between the letters, you got to put a multiply. I did that on purpose so you can see the error on that. The calculator's not at fault. You didn't put a multiply between it. Now then, go to our paper, and let's just look at the math. These are big numbers. It has to have a negative 3 over 4 in the answer. Look at your answer choices. This one doesn't work. This one doesn't work. It has to be this one, doesn't it? So let's go through and type this in. Negative 3xy squared over 4. So I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm going to type in a negative. And then control divide. And then 3xy squared. 3 times x times y squared. And then hit the down button. And then I need a 4, right? Hit enter, and notice I get the negative 27 over 2. That's going to be my answer in it. The answer matches up to the, basically you're plugging in the numbers and they match up, don't they? So this right here is the answer. Remember, anything to the 0 power is going to scratch out to 1. So that basically right there tells you what the answer will be, okay? If you erase this right here, you just got negative 3x squared y over 4. Let's go to the next one. This is the same thing as a store. All we need, we already got 2 stored for x, so I can just type this in and match it up. So let's do that, okay? So I'm going to go to the calculator. I already have my x scored, so I'm going to hit parentheses, 5x plus 3, close parentheses, close the parentheses, and then another parentheses, and then 8x minus 8, 8x minus 8, close the parentheses, hit enter, and I get 104. So if I input 2 into that and do the math, I'll get 104, okay? Now then, let's go back to the answer choices. Remember, it's if you do your answer right, you're going to have first and then outside, inside, last. Remember how I taught you to do that. The first terms are 5 times 8. It has to start with 40x squared, and it has to end in a negative 24. So the only one that works is these two, okay? So it has to be A or B. If you do your full, okay, you get 24 minus 40. It's not going to be 0. It's probably going to be B. So I'm going to go in and type in B. So I'm going to go to the calculator, and let's type in choice B. 40x squared, and then minus 16x minus 24. And it should be 104. And it is. So choice B is going to work because if you input 2, it gives you the same answer, doesn't it? So I'm going to go to my paper right here. This was 102 and this was also 102, right? They both gave me 102. You're going to use store probably 5 to 10 times on the test. So make sure you know how to do that. Number 12, we got to get the slope, okay? Hopefully we're getting this down. Keep writing this down. You'll get this. AX plus BY equals C. Let's solve this for y. The AX moves over, so I have BY equal negative AX plus C, and then divide by B. I get y equal negative A over BX plus C over B. This right here is your slope. Negative A over B. So this number, and this is a 1, 2 over 1 is my slope. The opposite of a positive is a negative. That's all you got to do. The x-intercept is going to be the 6 divided by 2, which is 3. The y-intercept is going to be the 6 divided by 1, which is 6, okay? So this number and this number give you the x-intercept. This number and this number give you the y-intercept. You must, the more you know that, the better you're going to get. Let's do the next one. Our slope is going to be 4 over 3 in it. And then the opposite of a negative is a positive. That means this line will go up 4, right 3, up 4, right 3. The x-intercept is 6 divided by 4. So 6 divided by 4, if you put that in the calculator, will give you 3 over 2. The y-intercept is 6 divided by negative 3. If you put that in the calculator, it'll give you -2. Just make sure you can do this. On this one right here, the slope is just 3/2. Make sure you can pull the slope out of these equations, okay? Number 13, factoring is F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. So we have our factors of 14. That's only 1 and 14 and 2 and 7. Which ones add up to 9? It's the 2 and the 7. So over here I'm going to put 7 and 2. And remember, the plus, or that middle sign goes to the big one. They both have to be plus, and their bottom's going to be x. This right here turns into the parentheses. So I have x plus 7 and x plus 2. Let's do the next one. We got 15. 1 times 15, and we got 3 times 5. We want to subtract and get 2. That's going to be the 5 and the 3. The minus goes to the big number. If I make the 3 negative, -5 minus 3 is -8, so I'm going to make it plus. This is x squared, so the bottom will be x and x. The answer is going to be x minus 5 and x plus 3. Ho, 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 ho. Let's go to the next one. On this one, we have a number in front of the x, so we got to do 2 times 5, and we get 10. We got to work with 10, so it's 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. The ones that add up to 7 are 2 and 5. So I'm going to put my 5 and my 2. The big one has to be positive. They're both going to be positive because I'm going to add. 5 plus 2 is x, but the 2x goes on the bottom. Notice the 5 and the 2x won't simplify, but this will turn into plus 1 over x. So I have my 2 parentheses, this one and this one. So my first factor is 2x plus 5. And my second factor is x plus 1. They could be in any order. Don't ever forget that. Piece of cake. Let's go to 14. On this problem right here, we are going to graph and then hit Control T. And we're going to get these answers, okay? Make sure you can do this. You will see this on your STAR test. So we're going to go to the calculator, hit Home, hit B to graph, and then we're going to hit Tab, and then we're going to type in x squared minus 5x minus 4 minus 5x plus 4. So x squared minus 5x plus 4, hit enter. Then we're going to hit Control T. And this right here is going to be my answers, okay? So notice my answers are right here on the left. If I input 0, I get 4. If I input 1, I get 0. These are my inputs. These are my outputs. So 4, 0, -2, -2, and 0. So 4, 0, -2, -2, and 0. This one and this one right here, right? Erase this one. This one and this one gave us 0, so 1 and 4 are the zeros of the function, aren't they? Those would be the solutions, right? But make sure you don't get messed up with this. If you input 0, you output 4. This right here would be your y-intercept, wouldn't it? Whatever you start off with, that's going to be your y-intercept. Let's keep going to number 15. Graphing another inequality. This right here is our starting number or our y-intercept. That's our first dot. It's at -2. Our slope is 1 over 2. This means we're going to go up and right. If the slope is negative, you go down and right. So we're going to go up 1, right 2, draw another dot. Those are the 2 dots you need. On the test, if you make those 2 dots, it connects it with a line. We have an equal bar, so we're going to draw a solid line, aren't we? So we're going to draw a solid line. And notice, if you go up, the numbers get bigger. That's greater than. If you go down, they get less than. We need a greater than. We would shade everything above the line. So our solution set would be all of the order pairs above the line. Let's go to number 16. Number 16, this is just calculator here. So you're just going to input it into the calculator. So we're going to go to the calculator. We're going to hit home. We're going to go to calculate. And we're just going to type in the problem. So 3 to the -2. 3 caret -2. So I have 3 to the -2 and I get 1 over 9. Notice that negative exponent does not make it negative. So if I go to my paper, this 3 to the -2, it's actually over 1. This turns into 1 over 3 squared, which is going to be 1 over 9 in it. So a negative exponent moves the base across the fraction bar. Let's go to the next one. Right here, that -2 is going to go to the bottom. I'm going to write down 2 x's. I need 4 y's on the top, and then I need 3 more x's on the bottom, and I need 2 y's on the bottom. Now then I'm going to scratch out. I could scratch out 2 sets of y's, right? Whatever's left is my answer. So I have 2 y's on top, and I have 5 X's on the bottom. That easy, okay? Let's do the next one. That negative 1 is going to move the X to the bottom, so I got an X on the bottom. Y squared, I have 2 Y's on top. I need 3 more X's on bottom, and I have 2 Y's on the bottom. What's going to happen to all my Y's? They're going to cancel out, right? Nothing's left on the top but 1. So I'm going to get 1 over X to the 4. Ho, 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 ho. And on the next one, you just type that straight in the calculator. So we're going to go to the calculator. Just type in 216, hit the up button, and then we're going to do 2/3. So control divide, and then get the 2/3. Hit enter. Bam, we get 36. Just be able to type that fraction into the exponent. So that answer right there would be 36. Continuing on. Right here, you're going to input this in a spreadsheet and get the M and the B. So we're going to go to our calculator, and this is linear, so we're going to do menu 413. So we're going to hit home. We're going to hit 1 for new. We don't want to save anything. We're going to add a spreadsheet 4. Type in the X and the Y. Always type in the X and the Y. And now then input the spreadsheet. 6, 15, and 25. 6, 15, and 25. And then I'm going to put in my Y's, 8.7. And then I have 16.35. And I have 24.85. Hit enter. Now then the blue box has got to be in an open spot. That tells the calculator you're not inputting anything else in. And then we're going to run the regression. So menu, statistics, stat calculations. Oh, stat calculations is 1. And then I want a linear regression. I want the M and B. So I'm going to hit 3, X down, Y down, and enter. Ho, 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 ho. So my M is 0.85 and my Y-intercept is 3.6. So go to your calculator, 0.85 and 3.6. Okay, the slope is 0.85 and it's 0.85. And remember, it's a function, the dollars is a function of the gizzards, Y is a function of X. So my 0.85, the slope is $0.85 per gizzard. So just remember, it's Y per X, okay? And then the cost of 50 gizzards, 0.85X plus 3.6. I'm going to calculate that, and I'm going to put 50 in for X. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to hit home and A, calculate, 0.85 times 50 plus 3.6, and hit enter. I get $46.10. So $46.10 is what 50 gizzards would cost. Turn the page! So we're at number 18. This is a huge concept. Hopefully you're getting good at it. So Bubba Bob is working for Silsby Septic. Ladies, he cleans his fingernails every night. He's pumping a 30-gallon septic tank at a rate of 5 gallons per minute. This right here is my growing number in it. This right here is my starting number. So I'm going to have negative 5x plus 30, aren't I? Okay, the slope is negative 5, and right here it tells you negative 5. It pumps negative 5 gallons per minute. So every minute it's taking 5 gallons out of that septic tank. My y-intercept is 30, so just put a dot in 30. And then you're going to do 30 divided by 5, which is 6. This tells you how many minutes it takes to drain the tank. So divide the growing number by the starting number by the growing number to get the x-intercept. And we need 6 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually you just put a number here in 6. And this is going to be a straight and steady line going down. Put 0 right here. This right here is your domain. And this right here is your range. Okay, so the domain goes from 0 to 6. The range goes from 0 to 30. So what's the y-intercept of the graph? It's 30. That's the initial amount of the tank, or that's the starting amount of fluid, right? That's the starting amount in the septic tank. What would the x-intercept be? It's 6. And in 6 minutes, you're going to drain the tank, aren't you? 6 minutes equals 0 gallons. After 6 minutes, there's not going to be anything left in the tank. The domain goes from 0 to 6. You put an X in the middle, and you use less than or equals. Same thing for the range. The range goes from 0 to 30. You put a y in the middle, and you use less than or equals, okay? So the range has to be more than 0, less than 30. The domain has to be more than 0, but less than 6. Continuing go, number 21. Okay, the table shows the height of Bubba Bob's Evel Knievel as a function in time. Okay, so this right here, the height is a function of the time, y and x. So my x is going to be seconds, and my y is going to be, this should be height. Okay? Okay, so if I input the seconds, I output the height, okay? And we want a quadratic regression. That won't be menu 413, it's going to be menu 416. So let's go to our paper, let's go to our calculator. Home, we want new. We don't want to save anything. We're going to want a spreadsheet. We want to put x and y in here because we're using the x and y axis. And now we're going to input our table. Let me turn this over. And we got 0.4, 0.8. So 0.4, 0.8, 1.2, and 1.8. Okay, then go over here. Our height is going to be 12.4. Nope. And then we have 16.8. And then we have 16. And then we have 5.1. 5.16. Just to make sure, let me look at this again on the, yep, that's right, 16.8 and 5.16. That's right. Now then I'm going to run the regression. So I got menu, statistics, I want to do a stat calculation, and then we want a quadratic regression, which is 6. Ax squared plus bx plus c, we're going to get the a, b, and c. So hit 6, and then x, down, y, down, and then hit enter. I need to hit down. Hit enter, and bam, we got our a, our b, and our c, don't we? Okay, so we're going to round these. So a is going to be negative 16.1. Remember, that's the force of gravity, right? Negative 16.1. Our b is 30.32. So 30.3. And our c, that's the initial height. The c was 2.8. 2.8. Okay, so the equation is negative 16.1x squared plus 30.3x plus 2.8, and we want 1 second. So we're going to type this into the graph and go to 1 second. We want to know what 1 second is. It's somewhere in here. So it's going to be between 16.8 and 16, okay? So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to hit home. I want a graph, which is B. I'm going to hit Control T to get rid of that table. Delete, delete, delete. And then tab. And then we started off with negative 16.1x squared. And then we have, let me get my calculations in here, 30.3x. So plus 30.3x. And then plus, and then the last thing we need was 2.8. 2.8 plus 2.8, hit enter. And now then notice the motorcycle goes up and then it comes back down, and we want to know the height after 1 second. We can hit Control T or we can trace. Let's do trace, menu 5, 1, and then I'm going to hit 1 and enter, and at 1 it's at 17 in it. So at 1 second, it's almost to the highest it goes, okay? So I'm going to go to here. At 1 second, it was 17 feet high. Ho, 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 ho. So we are estimating how much it is by running this regression, okay? Number 21. This right here is a straight input. This is my x, this is my y, right? Make a t-chart. Do not miss this. Negative 6, negative 10, and 12 and 5. So we're going to go to our calculator, and we're going to do a linear regression this time. So we're going to hit home. We're going to click 1. We don't want to save anything. We're going to add a spreadsheet. Type in the x and the y. And then let's type in our order pairs. So negative 6 and 12 are my x's. And my y's are negative 10 and 5. Now then, menu 413, and I'm going to get my I'm going to get my slope, x down, y down, and then enter. Ho, 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 ho. Now then my slope's a decimal in it. So I need to copy and paste this and make it a fraction. So to copy, make sure the blue box is over 0.8333. Hit Control C to copy. So I've copied it. Hit Home and A. Now then to paste it, hit Control V. And then Menu, to enter. Menu, number, approximate the fraction, enter. And notice the 0.833 is 5 over 6. So my slope is going to be 5 over 6. So right here, my slope is a positive 5 over 6. Let's do the next one. Goes through 6, 4. That's my x and y, and is parallel to this. Remember, your slope is going to be 2 over 3. And the opposite of a positive is a negative. This is my slope. So I'm going to do y equal mx plus b. My y is 4. My slope is negative 2 over 3. Parentheses, my x is 6 plus b. I'm going to put this in a regression and find b. So just type that into the calculator and find b. I'm going to do this by hand. 6 times 2 is 12. Divided by 3 is 4. That's a negative 4. Move it over. You get 8. So the b is going to be 8. So the equation is going to be y equal negative 2 over 3x plus 8. That's the new equation. So this is not easy. It's a lot of steps. Let's do the next one. This is my x. This is my y. This is my slope, but it's perpendicular. So my slope is negative 3 over 4, and I want a perpendicular slope. You got to flip. So it's going to be 4 over 3 in it. So this is my new slope. So I'm going to write down y equal mx plus b, and then my y is 3, my slope is 4 over 3, times my x is 9. I do not know the b, do I? So I would punch this into InSolve and get the answer. I'm going to do it by hand. 4 times 9 is 36. Divided by 3 is 12. Move the 12 over. 3 minus 12 is negative 9. The b equals negative 9. The equation is going to be y equal 4 over 3x minus 9. Ho, 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 ho. Continuing on, number 22. Right here, we're going to graph these lines and find out where they intersect. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to hit Home, and I'm going to hit B to graph. I'm going to delete the graphs. I can't see my origin, so I'm going to hit Home, and then B. I'm going to hit Menu. Window is 4, and Standard is 5. Now I got my origin back, okay? Hit Tab, and I'm going to graph the first line, which is negative 5 over 4x. So negative, Control Divide, 5 down 4, and then I need x, and then minus 3. Not plus, minus 3. So hit Enter, got my first line. Now then hit Tab, graph the second line. The second line is negative 1 over 4x plus 1. So negative, Control Divide, 1 down 4, and then x plus 1. Hit Enter. I got my two lines. I need to find out where they intersect. So Menu, I'm going to analyze the graph, 6. 6 is analyze graph, and I want the intersection 4. And now then I got to drag this. So I'm going to click, go across, click, 4, negative 4, comma 2 is the intersection point. So I'm going to go to my calculator. They intersect at negative 4 and 2. Ho, 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 ho. Going on the next one, I'm going to teach you how to eliminate. Okay? If you graph these, you got to solve them for y, and that's tedious. So look right here. The x's are opposites. So if you have opposites, you could go straight down. So I'm going to go straight down. The x's eliminate. Negative 3x plus 2y is a negative y. Let me put this over here. So we're going to put it down. So negative y equals 0. Okay, because 30 minus 30 is 0. So my y is going to be 0. Now then I'm going to take, let's take this one. There's less negatives. 3x plus 2y equals negative 30. I know my y, I don't know my x. My y is 0. I'm going to put 3x plus 2 times 0 equals negative 30. I could put that into InSolve and solve it for x. I'm going to solve it for x in my brain. 2 times 0 is 0. If I divide by 3, I get negative 10. So negative 10 and 0 is the ordered pair where those intersect. Let's do the next one. On the next one, the x's are an opposite, the y's are. So we're going to go straight down and add. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4x. The y's cancel out, and I get 16. If I divide both sides by 4, I'll get x equals 4. Now then, the one with the smallest numbers is the top one. You can write either equation down. Negative 3x plus 2y equals negative 4. My x is 4, so I'm going to do this. I could put that into InSolve and solve it for y. So make sure you can do that on the calculator. I'm going to do it in my brain. Negative 12, move the 12 over, I get 8. 2 divided by 8, or 2 goes into 8 4 times. So the order pair where these lines intersect is 4, 4. Remember, you are finding the intersection point of these lines. So if it's ax plus by equals c, I will teach you how to do that by elimination. Let's continue on. Number 23, we're almost done. This right here is going to make the line wider or flatter. So it's going to be a vertical compress. The opposite of negative 2 is a positive 2. That is a horizontal shift. Right 2. Remember, it's got to be opposite. The plus 5 is a vertical shift. Up 5. So this right here, it goes left to right. This right here goes up or down. The H is left to right. The K is up or down. On the next one, there's no parentheses. It does not move left to right. The negative reflects it across x-axis. It flips it. The 2 vertically stretches it. And I'm just going to put the 3 is going to move it up 3. So let's just put up 3. This is an arrow up. It would be a vertical shift up 3, okay? The next one right here, there's a parentheses right here, but there's no up or down, is it? So the 4 is going to be a vertical stretch because it makes it thinner. And the plus 1, the opposite of that's minus 1. That's a horizontal shift left 1. Fun, fun, fun. Let's go to the next one. Okay, we're going to graph this and go to the vertex, okay? So graph x squared plus 6x minus 16. So we're going to go to our graph, delete, 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 and hit tab, x squared, and then it's plus 6x minus 16. Not q, x. Plus 6x. Jiminy crickets. So x squared plus 6x minus 16, hit enter, got my parabola. I want the vertex. So menu 5-1, I'm going to hit the left arrow button to get to the bottom. And I'm at the bottom. Still not there. Bam. At negative 3, negative 25 is my vertex. So go here. My vertex is negative 3, negative 25. And remember, the x of the vertex is the axis of symmetry. Don't ever forget that, okay? This right here would go to the range, would it? So the x of the vertex is the axis of symmetry. The y is going to go to your range. That's going to be the max or min. Right here, the opposite of plus 4 is negative 4. The vertex is negative 4, negative 2. I don't even have to graph it. This right here goes to the axis of symmetry. It's x equals negative 4. On the next one, the opposite of minus 2 is a plus 2. My vertex is 2, 3. Remember, this goes to the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is 2. Piece of cake. Now then, let's get domain and range. Your domain is your x numbers. So go over here, go straight up and put a closed dot right here and put an arrow tip. This right here is your domain. So the domain starts at negative 4. Everything to the right gets bigger. You're going to use greater than or equal to. So I have all of my x's greater than or equal to negative 4. My range is my y's, okay? So I'm going to go across here, put a dot, and the arrow goes down. This right here is my range. Okay, so my range is going to be y. If you go down, the numbers go less than. If you go up, they get greater than. Y less than or equal to negative 2. That's going to be my range, okay? What a great day, okay? Y'all are going to do wonderful on your STAR reviews. Just keep doing them. Your STAR test is like in 4 weeks. Y'all got this. Continue to believe in who you are. You are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things. And you are awesome.